Thanks for tuning in to Healthy Planet One, where we discuss healthy living from experts in each of their fields. This is your host, Patricia Starr.
And your co-host, Kimberly Knock. Welcome, everyone. And today's guest on Healthy Planet One is Dr. David Blyweiss. He's the medical director for Natural Immunogenics Corp. So welcome, David. We're going to be talking about what the heck happened to medicine. David's got a long history here in functional and integrative medicine, one of the earliest adherents to this methods, and he's been identifying new plant life around the world. He's directed the University of Medical Miami's Osher Center for Integrative Medicine and Clinical Nutrition conferences since 2012. You've just got a wealth of knowledge. You're going to share some great stuff with us today. We are so welcome and happy to have you.
Well, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you, Kimberly.
You are welcome. So let's start out with how did you kind of get started with your transition and an introduction to integrative medicine, and then?
What you'll find is the older physicians, those of us who are older, went into this 20 or 25 years ago because we had our own issues. And mine was a chronic condition, as most of the early functional medicine integrative physicians were. And our colleagues and friends only had in their cookbook pharmacological treatments, or if it got bad enough, surgical treatments, and nothing about how to get rid of something, how to reverse it, how to feel better. Because 80% of what we see in medical practice is chronic degenerative issues. Mm-hmm. And that's not what we're set up to handle. We're trained for urgent issues. We're trained to hide symptoms. The knowledge and experience of the practice of medicine, mostly in art, was supplanted by pharmacy, taking control of medical education back to 1908 with the Flexner Report, when Rockefeller and Carnegie, under the guise of standardizing medical education, offered medical schools at the time $1 million. Now, that was a lot of money 100 and some years ago. And their relationships with hospitals they were building, universities, if they were to stop teaching about nutrition, health maintenance, homeopathy, mind-body connection, natural ways of regaining health, and to practice using the patented nostrums that they had the patents on, or surgical methods of treatment to treat people. And unfortunately, when insurance came into the picture back during the Depression, the Great Depression, to help people pay for the hospital, not the doctor, because you could always give the doctor a chicken or, pay out the $5 at the time, that they came in to pay physician visits as well as all your diagnostics, tests, surgery, and drug payments. We sort of lost it. And then the HMOs, which I was part of back in the early 80s, came in and said, listen, we're going to give you money every month. You take care of people, and whatever you don't spend, you get to keep. So at that point, if you didn't treat people, you made money. And then they changed and gave us electronic medical records, which were demanded by the insurance companies for physicians to use, or else they wouldn't be paid. They wouldn't be paid. And it was there to make them either pay docs or not pay docs if boxes weren't checked off, which is why your physician now, if you go in and you've got your 15 minutes, whether you need it or not, they're in front of a computer screen and they're clicking off boxes, or else they won't get paid. So now docs have to see 20, 25, 30 people a day without knowing who you are, without taking a decent history or a decent physical exam, and move you along. I had the head of one of our large medical school family practice programs on my table as a patient. And we had just taken an hour history, and now he was getting through with what I believe is a complete physical exam. And he came off the table and said, "We don't teach this anymore." I said, really? He goes, "Yeah, they don't have time. They've got the buttons to click. they've got maybe 20 minutes. I go, yes, I know, because your patients come and see me after they see you guys. So we lost the art of medicine because of money. So, yeah. But there's a few of us who do it, and ultimately people would take, when I had the practice, it would take 3 to 5 years to find me or other certified functional medicine docs to finally work with them for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and then their issues were largely resolved.
So I know that you're connected with Sovereign Silver, and
I am,
as medical director, and maybe lead into now that you've shared with us what the heck happened to medicine so well, and we kind of understand what we're up against. Coming into Silver, obviously you had what brought you into your new passion, as a medical director with this company, and maybe share a little bit about the controversy.
That was an accurate statement. Because I have been using argentin, which is the professional grade of bioactive silver hydrosol, for about 17 years on my patients, my family, my friends. Even my 6-year-old grandson knows that if he's getting sick and if he's got a cough and a cold, or he's got coming up through his lungs, he gets out his little choo-choo train nebulizer, and we put 3 mLs of the argentin in there, and he does 2-3 treatments a day. After a few days, he's totally well. I was just reading an email from a doc in San Diego, an ER physician, a family practitioner, who said, you guys need to keep on going. I had a 57-year-old COVID patient, short of breath, chest pain. We nebulized the argentin. It took 4 treatments, and he says he feels it working, and now he's better. But we're not allowed to say those things in saying that they work directly. I can only say that through my experience or through other doctors' experiences.
David, how are you held that you can't say anything like that? Because there seems to be a big pushback from the FDA and the government on this whole silver thing. Why is that? And how do we overcome that?
Well, I'm trying. Silver's been used for thousands and thousands of years, right? Even old Hippocrates found that it healed scrapes, bruises, wounds, ulcers on people. There wasn't a king worth his salt if he went into battle without silver plates in his water barrels to keep the water pure. We're still using it as a dilute silver nitrate formula in babies' eyes if they're at-risk neonates coming through the birth canal from a mother who may have infectious disease, although now we use erythromycin too. It's used in every burn unit in the world, right? Sulfadiazine, Silvadine. The government knows about this. I mean, I believe they have the patent on one of the silvers. But even NASA has been using it in the space program to clean water. It's on the International Space Station to purify their water. And people forget that it was an accepted part of medical treatments in the U.S. Up until the discovery and patenting of penicillin. It was right. So again, it's about money. It's the sale of the drug. So what happened was 1996, FDA brought 2 people out from their other departments, Doctors Fung and Bowen, and they wrote this opinion piece that became the basis of the FDA's letter in 1999 that said, silver has no medical use, although to the contrary it has, and it's dangerous, that it could turn you blue. Blue, that argyria is a benign dermatological condition that is reversed with certain laser treatment, and that's if you're taking the wrong silver, the large particle, inert, inactive, homemade silver. Some of the products on the market, I mean, we've tested 200 competitors and found just awful stuff, which is why
Really?
there's some level of a worry about it. But the bioactive silver hydrosol that the company makes is the smallest. It goes down to up to 0.8 nanometers, which is just minuscule. And even the EPA has said that the reference dose for you to have a toxic level of this silver is you can take 7 teaspoons a day for 70 years, and nothing will happen.
So are they using this with COVID as well? Is helpful with COVID?
Well, we're not allowed to say that. We do know that it has worked against SARS, which is a COVID virus. In my experience, I found that over 15 years that it's remarkably effective. And again, I have to say, in my clinical experience in the office, for boosting immune system health, for resolving viral pulmonary symptoms, for rapidly healing minor wounds, leg ulcers, burns, scrapes, bites. But again, I can only say that in public from my experience. I can't say what it does.
So should we be taking this silver like on a daily basis, or what would be your recommendation?
My recommendation from my using it for 17 years is that people get benefit from it if they're doing their teaspoon under their tongue daily. If they want some a bit stronger of an immune support, it's a teaspoon 3 times a day under the tongue. I like to hold it as long as I can. But again, that's from experience and knowing the research that has come out since the FDA paper came out. And it's amazing in the last 20-some years what we've shown that the right silver can do, safe and effective. So we do have issues in trying to get that back into medicine at the level that it deserves to be.
Awesome.
That's very encouraging to hear, especially with bringing some confidence to a lot of people that may feel a little afraid about their own immune system, knowing that they have some empowerment. I think that you and I talked briefly about also the effect on gut and microbiome, because people are starting to hear a lot about that over the last 5 years. Maybe you could comment on that aspect.
On how silver affects the microbiome, or the microbiome in general?
Well, maybe in general a little, since you're so well knowledgeable and you're able to bring it down to such a minute level, and then how it can affect it as well.
Yeah, I mean, microbes make us, right? The microbiota of the biosphere is bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, other buggers living on us. 90% of the cells in our body are not human, but microbial, including 8 to 10% that are viral in origin. So we talk about the microbiome, which is inherited from mom. It's dynamic. It changes from individual to individual, and in the same individual over time. So you get your human genome from mom and dad. You get your microbiome from mom, but classically we talk about bacteria, and we forget the virome, which is a third set of genomic information from the environment, depending on stressors in the environment. Most viruses, unless they kill you, are a software update or a patch. We're taking the directions in clothes, which is the microbiome that comes with every newborn human, but you get genomic updates. The viruses might start out as genetic enemies, but over time, some of them in their fragments, their base pair fragments, if they're infecting us in our germ cells, become part of our genome. And they help make proteins, they turn on genes, they help us thrive. We tend to forget that they are the most abundant biological entity on Earth. They outnumber all other life forms. They're the largest reservoir of genetic diversity, and they share it. They share it with our bacteria, they share it with us, and they are increasing our genetic diversity. They strengthen us. You can't have a baby if you're human without having an endogenous retrovirus in your genome. because
I love it.
yeah,
That's
no,
great.
really, because when an endogenous virus donates fragments of